Welcome. Today we are going to discuss a general introduction about economy. Okay, let's start. Uh, Starting with the general, very basic. What is economy and what is economics? Economics is just a science dealing this, and economy is a practical thing. Uh, this teaching method will be fully based on logic. One should not need to memorize any stuffs. So just like people say polity, you can read based on logic. In this approach, you can read economy through logic, and I will make it as simple as possible. So yes, just this is a general introduction about how the term economy, how the economy has been ruled the world from the past to now, and what about the current scenario and where are we? All the aspects we are going to deal. First of all, we need to know. So first of all, I tell you how will be this chapter is. The introduction is. So now we are going to learn the difference and how the origination and roots of the then capitalist countries. Then you know that communist countries, then socialist countries. Actually, both are same. Okay, this is, you can say, capitalist is some private ownership, private dealers. Then communist, state will manage. Then yeah, and this thing. So if you wonder where it all started with one thing: ideas. Yes, it started with ideas. Okay, let's see. It just started with 1776 uh, by Adam Smith, and his book is, everyone knows what, The Wealth of Nation. Okay, in this book he advocated a capitalist kind of economy. Okay, what are all he suggested? Okay, he's actually a philosopher, so some terms you need to interpret. He given something called a laissez-faire, and that is laissez-faire is government should not intervene in in an economy. Then invisible hand of market force. Invisible hand of market force, what it is? Nothing but a price mechanism. Okay, so this kind of policy he advocated, and moreover he tells a country should not base on welfare of people. Okay, should not focus the economic terms for the welfare of people. Okay, instead he suggested the private will deal everything. Okay, that is what the invisible hands and the laissez-faire are. So yeah, obviously many drawbacks will be there. Okay, so similarly during this 1800s, yeah, another idea. If there is idea, there is always a contravening idea. That's by Karl Marx. Okay, he suggested the socialist and a communist kind of economic thing. Socialist is, the example is tends to USSR, and a communist you can say China. Nothing. Socialist is um, collective ownership. Okay, so everyone is a owner, but communist is a state ownership. State will deal everything. Okay, that's the difference. And Karl Marx says that a socialist, the concentrated form of socialist is communist. So once a country become more socialist, it will become communist. But in practice, this never happened. So obviously, if there is a drawback in this extreme, there can be drawback in this kind also. Okay, that's why one should follow a middle path. So what happened? 1929. So the Great Depression happened. Okay, in US, then spread to other countries. So what happened? This method got failed. So that is where the great economist um, John Keynes. So 1936, John Keynes. Okay, he had given some ideas and policies uh, for the nation to recover. So this involves some set of measures like he is against it Adam Smith. See, countries in depression, obviously the savior would be the government, right? So he told government should intervene, and also he suggested discretionary fiscal policy. And the next thing is increasing government expenditure. Okay, some kind of measures. Similarly, in this also has, as I told, some drawbacks. So initially, how it all started, admired by the okay. So initially, it's the route with the Professor Oscar Lange. He coined the term market socialism. What is market socialism? See, the socialist countries, okay, should follow the same capitalist method. Some of the capitalist measures, like somewhat a dilute form of socialism, he suggested. Okay, but it never happened when he suggested, because he suggested, I think, around 1950s. Then what happened later? Yeah, some drawbacks, lot of drawbacks. USSR, to overcome the drawbacks of it, it followed the glass net. That is openness. That is opening the economy, not the closing. Earlier it was closed, now it is opening. Then another perestroika, that is restructuring the economy. Similarly, China later 1980s introduced open door policy. It also opened it. So now you are getting it, right. So this is also kind of diluting. Here is also diluting. So government intervention everywhere, and also here some of the private is also opening. So this give mixed economy. Okay, if you see in NCRT, here it where it starts, macroeconomics. Okay, macroeconomics, particularly associated with John Keynes. So Keynes is the one who. So yeah, from Keynes that macroeconomics started. Okay, first of all, you need to know the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Say for example, even it is a big company, say take Reliance, one should not tell it as a macroeconomic base, because Reliance is based on profit motive. It won't reflect the whole economy. But if something, it represents the inflation and the unemployment scenario, that comes under the macroeconomics. So what it is, earlier Adam Smith, what he said, private, then no government interference. Okay, then what does this Keynes suggested? Keynes suggested that every sector is interlinked. I will give you a classical example. Now the petrol price is rise. Okay, so because of that, all the commodities price goes rise, and even the vegetables price goes rise. So everything is interlinked, right? So that is, if you take, instead of taking all the goods, if you take representative goods, it represents the whole economy. Okay, so that is the reason it is named as representative goods. As I told you, it is logic. If you know what is representative in English, you know what is representative goods. So Keynes suggested this, not Keynes suggested this, this is representative goods. Then as I told you, why now we mostly stick on to this capitalist economy. Okay, because nowadays, after what happened after 1980s even, okay, most of the countries become mixed economy. So there is nothing like one particular economy you can no any particular economy you can say is entirely closed. Okay, everything is open now. So in this concept, this you will get more focus. Okay, so factors of production. Okay, factors of production, or land, labor, capital. Land, labor, capital, and one more thing is entrepreneurship. And this thing is entrepreneurship. And these are the factors of production. What it is, if you are need to produce something, you need a land, you need a labor for it, you need a capital for it, okay, and also entrepreneurship is also needed for it, right? So um, these are the factors of production. Then and this capitalist economy, it's focused on particularly four things. One is private ownership, then they are producing for what? Selling. That's it, it's a profit motive. Then wage labor, whoever is working. Then fourth is wage rate. Actually, this capitalist country is based on these aspects, only these four, mainly these four. So most of the US, European countries based on this. Then yes, this is the capitalist, so you need to get more focus on. And yeah, so as of now, we had seen how the John Keynes had given an idea which overcome the drawbacks from the ideas of the Karl Marx and Adam Smith, and finally come up with somewhat a mixed economy. Okay, so even though it is mixed economy, we need to know this because everything is now private or also major player in the economy. So yeah, now you know. Okay, sir, what is the now the recent trend of globalization, privatization, everything is there. What it is? Okay, so this another variant. It's called a new liberalization. Where it started? Nothing. 1989. What happened? John Williams. Okay, he suggested some 10 measures, policy measures for Latin America. Okay, for Latin America. So those measures includes something like tax restructuring, then trade liberalization, like that. So yeah, that's the origin of this. Based on this, the term it becomes some synonymous words: new liberalization, globalization, all these things. So this this globalization, all this based on 1989. The root is from this John Williams. Then in India, this is world scenario. In Indian scenario, you can divide it into before 1991, that BOP crisis, before BOP crisis, then after. Then what happened before? It is more leaned towards socialist. Okay, as I told you what is socialist. But after 1991, what happened? It leaned towards capitalist. So this is how an economy is, and where we are now. And I want to give some example, not example, one fact. In this capitalist economy, see, in this land, labor at a capital, finally one earns what? A revenue. Finally one earns a revenue. Using that revenue, okay, he need to give, say for example, if it is a land, he need to give rent to land. If it is a labor, he need to give wages to labor. If it is a capital, he need to give interest to the capital. Okay, so after that, whatever left is known as profit. Okay, if he is using this profit to further increase his production, then that is called investment expenditure. Okay, since it is very factual and can be asked in examination, I particularly told in the last, best for the last. Thank you. See you next video.